What up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to my channel. Why do I do this so much every time? Oh, it's like the exercise. This is actually a really good exercise. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm getting weird. I'm sorry. The truth has come out. I'm actually a little bit of a weirdo. We all knew this. We all knew this already. It's fine. It's fine. I don't care. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. I don't care. Whatever. So today, I'm actually really excited to do this video. So I'm going to be making a video like top tips for starting a brand new story. So this can be a brand new story, but you've written stories before. This can be for episode or like Wattpad or literally any platform that you want at all. Or it can be like your first ever story. But these are the top tips that I have for you to write your very first or brand new story. Step 1, write all your ideas down, every single idea. Even if you're not sure about the idea, or you don't know if you can add it into your story, or you're thinking, oh, like maybe I'll add it in, maybe I won't. So literally write everything down. So I have written a bunch of stories, obviously. We all know I've written a bunch of stories, and I write all my ideas down, even for like stories that I haven't ended up writing or like ideas that I haven't used, but then you can go back through them and look at them for inspiration. You never know, you might use it in the future. So literally every single idea that pops into your mind, write it down, because you never know when you might want to use it. Also, if your memory is like mine, you might be a really forgetful person and you don't want to just like lose these incredible ideas that you come up with just because you're forgetful. Also, it's good for continuity. My first ever story was Dear Diary on episode. I did not plan it out very well at all. I didn't write anything down. So I was constantly having to ask myself questions about my own story because I'd forgotten, you know, like where does the character live, or like what's the character's grandma called, or like when is their birthday, or you know, what are their certain likes or dislikes. If you haven't written it down and you forget, you might have to go back through 20 chapters and spend hours trying to find out something that could have just been solved if you'd written it down. So write it down, and I mean actual writing too. Like if you lose your phone, where are your ideas? I think it's really good to get some stuff written down, actually. Pen, paper. Buy yourself a notebook. Use it as an excuse to go shopping. On the same kind of note, on the same kind of vibe, plan everything. Plan as much as you can. What I actually did lately, I'm writing a new story with Katrine, which I will tell you all about when it's time. We did this thing where we asked ourselves questions about our characters, like all kinds of stuff, like where does my character want to be in 5 years time, and what is my character's biggest pet peeve, and if my character could travel anywhere in the world, where would it be? If you plan out all these little details about your characters in your stories, then no matter what situation your character gets into or what happens in the story, then you've already got like a rough idea planned out. Also, like plan where you want to go with the chapters. What I used to do is literally just go onto the portal, start a chapter and just see where it took me. And I wouldn't recommend that. I would definitely recommend knowing where you want to be at chapter 10, chapter 20, like plan each chapter as you're going through. Don't start until you've planned it, because it becomes so much easier once it's all planned. If you watch one of my previous videos, I wonder if Katrine can put the link here, about planning a chapter, how to, the best way to write a chapter, I literally plan every section, every scene, so I know what I want to say. And then it becomes a lot easier on me too as a writer, because I know what I have to write. Even though it's like being told what to write, but by yourself. Do I even make sense? Why do I even make videos? I don't even know if I make sense. Smash like if I make sense. Smash like if I don't make sense. Smash. I've hurt my wrist so much, and I didn't bring travel insurance, and my mum told me to bring travel insurance, and I was like, yeah, I will. And yeah, now I've hurt myself and I don't have travel insurance, so I can't do anything about it. Whatever, who cares? I hope she doesn't watch this video and find out. Sorry, Mum. So the next thing you need to do is make sure you have your core characters planned. So you want to know who the good guy is, who the bad guy is, who the love interest is, you know, who your main character's parents are, what their family is like. I like to have about 5 like proper main characters that are all planned out for my story to start off with, because obviously you might create more characters as you go along, and I mean I create characters in every chapter anyway, because you've got like store assistants and like background characters and stuff. But if you have your core characters planned and you get to know them inside and out, then planning the story in general will become a lot easier, and you really get to know your characters, and then you can write them better because you know how they would react in a certain situation. So get them core characters planned before you even start writing. Even if they're not going to be in the first few chapters, like if they are going to be a core character in the story overall, then you've got to be good. You got to know them. Okay, this is one of the biggest tips I could possibly give you. Start your first scene, the first story, like the first chapter, start it with something captivating AF. You want drama straight away. Like some people, they won't give a story a chance. Realistically, they don't like it in the first chapter. So you want to start with something like, oh my goodness, what's happening here? What's going on? Why is this happening? Seriously, like I am so intense, I can't wait to read more. So start with something really, really good. So for example, with Becoming Queen Bee, the way I started that story, rather than it just being like, oh, hey, this is me, this is what I do, this is my life, this is what's happening. It started off with the main character in the principal's office in serious trouble. And you play as the main character. So it's like, oh my goodness, what have I done? Why am I in so much trouble? Why does the principal want me? What's all this drama about? Is Ashley gonna kill me? Ashley was like the mean girl. It was a great way to like, my story's just great. But for me, I found it like a great way to really engage the audience within the first few lines, and also set up for the story so they automatically know like who the mean girl is, what the story is going to be about. Like it's a real like high school drama. So my story was literally summed up in the first few scenes, which is a great thing to do. The next tip I will give you is know how you want your story to end. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't follow my own advice a lot of the time. I didn't plan how I wanted to Becoming Queen Bee to end before I'd started writing it, but I found it recently with my planning like newer stories. It's a lot easier when you know how you want it to end, and it makes the story like flow better, and you have like a point to work towards, rather than being like, I'm not sure how I want this story to end, and then it can become quite an anticlimactic ending. And you want the start of your story to be just as good as the end of your story, because this is your work, you know? You know what I'm saying, fam? Oh wait, what's the X thing? Oh, did they just do that in Black Panther? My next big tip for you is choose your backgrounds. So a lot of the time you can come up with these awesome and cool ideas to write on episode, but then logistically, you can't do it, you can't direct it that way, or you don't have the artwork that you want to make your story really zing. So if you go through the backgrounds that are available to you, whether it's just the backgrounds on the art catalogue on the episode portal, or whether you have some friends within the episode community, like background editors, go through them, find your backgrounds, know what you want, know what your main character's bedroom's going to look like, know where the core scenes will be. So like, if it's set in school, you want some school backgrounds, or college backgrounds, or workplace backgrounds, house backgrounds, you know, things that are going to be used the most in your story. Go find them, go get them, so you are ready to go straight away. I always have my backgrounds planned before, like my backgrounds set up in my chapters before I write the dialogue, so that I can really combine the backgrounds and the dialogue so it merges together. So it's like a complete story rather than, you know, like a complete episode story rather than just like a novel. You get me? So on that note, you want to make sure that you don't overcomplicate things. So what I mean by overcomplicating things, this is really, well, I mean, it can be applied to anything, but I'm talking specifically about coding and directing. So the code, like I don't know about everyone, but I do find coding quite difficult. It took me a little while to learn. And if this is your first story, don't try and overcomplicate it by planning to do all these weird, extravagant, and super awesome and cool directing. Like, if you have a great storyline, then people are going to read it. It doesn't really matter how fancy the directing is. So don't try and do too much, because you can spend hours on trying to get something that's 2 seconds long, and then you neglect the dialogue, which is the main part of your story, especially for my stories. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know if that's just me, but I really do, you know, I struggle with complicated coding, and I feel like I have been successful or had like popular stories without super complicated coding. So don't overcomplicate it for yourself if you're not ready. It's okay. It doesn't have to be super complicated. Okay? Okay. So, the next tip, have a unique selling point. So, as we all know, there's millions and billions of stories, maybe billions? There's got to be billions. There's billions of stories out there in the world. There's loads of ideas. A lot of stories will have very similar ideas, but what you want to do is make sure that you've got something that really makes your story unique, something that makes it different and stand out from all other stories in the genre. I mean, it's super difficult to do, but it is something you've got to do. You don't want to write a story that's just like everybody else's. So make something about your story that's super unique. So I like to write like high school romance stories, as we all know, but I like to add like a strong comedy element and a strong like super light-hearted element to everything. And I like to put my own humor into the stories as well. So it's super nerdy. I feel like it allows the reader to look at especially on episode, look at like romance stories without it being about like sex or nakedness or, do you know what I'm saying? Am I making any sense? Making romance romantic but funny AF. I don't even know if it doesn't sound unique, but I know what I'm saying. Am I not unique? I'm just talking myself down now. I'm like, I suck so much. I don't follow any of my own tips. But yeah, make it unique. The last thing you need to do when writing a brand new story before you publish it, I cannot stress this enough, proofread it. And if you can, get somebody else to proofread it too, like even if it's like your friend or your mom or whatever, like get those grammatical errors sorted. Like, I don't know about you, but 99% of the time if I'm reading a story and it's got bad grammar or bad spelling, I'm just like, no. Because there's no excuse really. I get there's a lot of authors, English isn't their first language, but there are so many apps out there that you can use for like spell checking. Episode itself has a spell checker on it, and you can get somebody else to read it. Like, people can get really frustrated with bad grammar, and it's not a good practice. So if you proofread, you can get all those little errors out. Make sure you do it. Make sure you're thorough with it. And then there you have a perfect story. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed. Why am I so weird? I hope you enjoyed my tips on how to start a brand new story. If you have any ideas or any type of video that you would like me to make, comment it down below, and if I can, I will create it for you so that I can help you all out. Thank you so much, Brontaholics, for being so awesome. Literally, I'm enjoying making these YouTube videos so much, and I love seeing the feedback, so thanks. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. And I will see you soon. Oh, did you hear my elbow click while I was doing that? I'm getting old.